bird. Hello, hello. How is everyone? I'm glad you're here. I was getting the twirly bird. You know, that's what I call that roaming signal that it's trying to connect to the internet. I hope you had a good day today. Did something fun. And I have to admit, I'm a little nervous about today's recipe. I don't know who submitted it, but the counts just don't look right, okay? So we're going to see what happens. I printed a new, different recipe for chocolate mint cookies because the one in the cookbook, I think it's missing flour, but we'll know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. So this is the Heidi Allen Cookbook, and today's recipe is chocolate mint cookies. It's on page 57, and this is day 6 in the 12 days of hope for Heidi Allen. Of course, we hope 365, 24/7, but this is like a special go live cooking series here on YouTube. And then after the videos, I do upload everything into today's blog, which is at lisam.marybusky.com. So you can catch that. So it says preheat the oven. I have the oven preheating. And then it says to set up your double boiler and put half the morsels into the pan. So again, like the other day, we're not going to be using the double boiler. I'm going to use my Epicure round steamer, but we won't need the lid because we don't want to create steam. All right. And if you can tell, all the dishes from last night's live are still there. So we're going to put half of the mint morsels in the steamer to melt them. Okay. And until they're creamy. I love mint. It smells so good. And I'm really hoping these come out all right because there's people waiting for these today. Okay. Let me put that down just a little. I'm going to grab. When I melt the morsels, I just put a little bit of oil in there because I just think it makes them a little creamier. So we're going to put this in. And I think it was like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes the other day. That was perfect. So while that's in, what we're going to do is get our next one ready that's going to have to be warmed up. Butter, sugar, and vanilla. Right? So I have my butter, which is frozen because I didn't pull any out to stock the refrigerator. I am like totally amazed at how much stuff I'm going through. And then we need a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I know it looks like vodka, but it's not. It's vanilla, and you take just your cheap vodka, or I guess if you want to buy expensive vodka, and you put 3 or 4 vanilla beans in there. And I learned it at one of those, like an all-natural like training, and it tastes just like cooking vanilla, and it's not as expensive. All right, and so I mean, it sat in a closet. It went in April, and I didn't take it out until this summer. So it has to sit at least 3 to 4 months in the dark, in a cool, dark place. All right, I digress. So we need to do the butter, the sugar, and the vanilla, and it's a 1/4 cup of sugar. See, this is where I am just perplexed, okay? Because this recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/4 cup of flour, and that's it. And that's just mind-blowing to me. So I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. So a 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of cooking vanilla, and a stick of butter. All right. And we're going to put this in when we take the chocolate out. It's looking pretty good. 2 seconds left. Oh, snap. All right. I think I might have burned my chocolate. I think it was 1.5 minutes the other day. It's not burnt. It's getting there though. Another 2 seconds in the microwave. All right, so we're gonna melt that. I'm gonna do 35 seconds. And I'm just stirring the chocolate. Okay. Melting it. It smells scrumptious. All right. And you just want to spoon it until it's smooth. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom, smooth chocolate. And then we're going to combine the egg into this mixture, which the butter's not quite melted. Let's do another 25 seconds. All right. So I need a mini whisk, which hopefully it's small. It won't ruin my Tower of Jenga. All right, I'm going to be using this as my big mixing bowl again. Okay. Stir until slow. Stir from heat, room temperature. Let's do that. In a small bowl, combine flour, baking soda. I did read this like 20 times and I can't lock it in my brain. I think it's because I'm so baffled with this recipe. So I'm just gonna whisk my butter, the vanilla, and the sugar. All right. And then it says to this mixture, add melted morsels and combine butter, sugar, and vanilla. Beat until creamy. Add melted morsels and egg and beat well. All right. So egg. We're going to beat that in. And it looks like we're adding this to the chocolate mix. All right. So we're going to add that to room temperature chocolate. All right. So I'm just going to take a spoon and just spoon that in. Okay. And we're going to stir it into this melted chocolate. Okay. Beating in the egg, the butter, the sugar, the cooking vanilla. All right. So far, looking pretty good, I guess. All right. That looks pretty yummy. It smells good. I still don't know how it's going to turn into a cookie, though. I'm still not understanding that part. Or how this is making 18 cookies minimum. All right. So now we did that. We're going to combine the flour, the baking soda, and the salt. So the flour is 1/4 cup of flour. And this is where, like, I'm baffled. I've never made cookies with just 1/4 cup of flour. Ever in my entire life. And then 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Baking soda, flour. Baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon. All right. Can I get to? I can. Maybe. I don't know. I can't get to that one, or the Tower of Pisa is going to fall over. All right. 3/4 of a teaspoon. A little teaspoon. I'm not very prepared for this today, guys. Sorry about that. 1/2. I need 1/4. No, use my grandmother's tried and true right here. All So 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's the sugar, the brown sugar, the flour, and the baking soda. Okay. I think it's supposed to be a cup, 1 1/4 cup of flour, but I know. I'm even thinking that more so now. All right, so we got this flour, the baking soda, and the salt. I need salt. How much salt? 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. Stir that in. And then butter, sugar, and vanilla. Beat until creamy. Add the melted morsels, the egg. Beat well. Gradually blend in flour. Gradually, it was 1/4 cup. Stir and rest of morsels and nuts if you want. I'm not doing nuts. All right, and then do you think that's really going to turn into a cookie? I think it was supposed to be 1 1/4. For all the cookies I made, this is where I'm at. I'm doing it another cup because I'm going with my baking instincts. I think it's supposed to be 1 1/4 cups. And I didn't go on earlier because I was actually comparing different mint cookie recipes to look at their flour ratio. And yeah, they all had like a 1 1/4 for this amount of vanilla and sugars. It was a 1 1/4 cup of flour. So I'm thinking the 1 got omitted when this was typed. Because you got to remember back in 1994 when this came out, people were doing a typewriter, and 1 or 2 or 3 people, and I'm sure Roberta Bond did many of them, and others. I just know Roberta was our go-to with the computer. These were all hand typed. There was no spell check. There was no nothing like that. It was all done on a typewriter with whiteout tape, or probably liquid whiteout. I don't even think whiteout tape was available yet. And then, a big thick stack of all of these recipes was sent to the printer, to be scanned or whatever the printers did at that time. I don't know. I just know on our end, a volunteer or 2 or 3 or 4 typed in all these recipes. So I'm just going to fix it in mine, and I will fix it on the website too. It's definitely 1 1/4 cups. All right, so now that that's in there, all right, now we're going to put it on a cookie sheet, and of course it calls for a flour. I'm using my Epicure quarter sheet pans with the liners. I don't need to spray them. And I am going to use my 2 tablespoon scoop. I was going to use my 1/4 cup scoop, but that's over there in the Tower of Jenga, okay? And if you do dishes Jenga, feel free to leave a comment below. My fellow dishes Jenga people, where it's always the greatest mystery in the world. Will it stay? Won't it stay? So I'm going to do the 2 tablespoons, which I think they'll be okay. Just because I'm going to be sharing it with people. So I just wanted to make them smaller. I think the other ones would be so big and so sweet. And I have a little of the ice frosting left. I might just thin it out just a little and make like glaze to go over the top of these. Doesn't that sound good? All right, so I'm going to put these in the oven, and then I'll get the other ones scooped out. It was definitely 1 1/4 cups of flour, so I will make that change on the. There we go. I'm going to put those in, and it says to bake them 8 to 9 minutes. I'll start with 9. I'm going to get our full-size sheet pan. And one of the liners. Okay. To finish scooping out the last of the cookies onto the sheet. And again, with these Epicure silicone liners, you do not have to spray them, which is awesome. Okay. Something going on in 1 hour that I'm supposed to be doing. All right. Oh, there is something going on. Superstar call. Thank you, Alexa. All right. So, there we go. That's much better. Mucho better. All right. So then I have another one. I'm just going to slip these in on the bottom. And the timer is at 8 minutes, so the other ones have been in a minute. So the bottom will have to go in an extra minute longer than the top. But that is the chocolate mint cookies from page 57 in the Heidi Allen Cookbook. And I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. I am going to go and make the corrections on the blog so that it says 1 1/4 cups of flour instead of 1/4 cup. And tomorrow's recipe is overnight coffee cake, which is awesome. So I'm going to be preparing the overnight coffee cake and then putting it in the refrigerator to chill overnight for a delicious breakfast on Saturday. So thank you for joining me for this YouTube Live, and it's now available over at my blog. Well, it will be in about 5 minutes, but by the time you see this, it'll be there. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for spreading, sharing, and praying. #Hope for Heidi Allen.